In the prison,
yes.
And I was telling them they have to learn to do dawah, and they were saying, how, we're in prison, how could we possibly give the dawah?
That's right, and that was one of our most memorable experiences in our visits to the prisons, as we shared with the people of Curacao there, when we encouraged the inmates to tell their families to go to the website. We never expected that they would do that, but in fact one did, and of course his sister went to the website, printed the material off, and against the advice of her brother, who was the inmate, she read the material, and as a result...
I like that part, though. I like that part where you say, and whatever you do, don't read it, because what are they going to do? They're going to read it. What do they call it? Reverse psychology.
Reverse psychology, that's right. And as a result, as we mentioned there, that she did become a Muslim.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, I'm responsible for visiting quite a few of our prisons, and I'd like to know, Sheikh, you having visited many colleges and universities, have you ever had any experiences like that?
Well, actually, there is something that happened right over at George Mason University. There was one young man who was the head of an organization, and I'm not going to tell you who it was, but we call him anti-Islam, because anytime we would try to do any kind of program, he would try to sabotage it and do things against, you know, the efforts that we were trying to make, and destroy things, steal things, just, you know, it was a real pest. But everybody was trying to be nice to him, and they trying to show the good character of a Muslim in spite of what people might do. So he takes these videos that we had. We had some videotapes, and he took all of them so that we didn't have anything to give away for the people who came to visit. And he thought he was being cool, and he even told his friends, I'm going to record my musical videos over these tapes. Ha, ha, ha. So then one day, one of his friends was talking to him and about how much he hated Islam and was against Muslims and all. And so this guy was telling him, well, if you feel like that, how come your sister is a Muslim now? Well, how did that come about? He said, oh, he said, one time I took all of those videotapes away from those Muslim guys. And I took the tapes I was going to record over them. But before I could record over all of them, my sister pulled out one of them and she stuck it in the TV, you know, the VCR player. And she watched it, and she accidentally became a Muslim. I don't know how you can accidentally become a Muslim. Well, that's what he said. She accidentally became a Muslim. So that was another kind of a strange quirk of the way that things go. One of the things I believe that's really important for us to keep in mind is that, and a lot of times we know it, we think about it, but we don't mention it. We should mention this. In Islam, nobody can be forced to come into Islam. And it's impossible, because Islam means the willful submission to God on His terms. And you cannot willfully submit if somebody's forcing you. It's the opposite.
That's correct.
So, therefore, nobody can be forced to go into Islam. And in fact, that's what Allah says in the Quran, La ikraha fid din. This means that there is no compulsion forcing anybody to submit to Allah. Of course, if you understand that, it means, though, if you do choose to submit, then you have to totally become a Muslim. So it's not like a scapegoat narration in the Quran that says that, okay, Muslims don't have to practice Islam. Some might say, oh, la ikraha fi din, I don't have to wear hijab, you know, the covering,
yes,
and I don't have to pray 5 times a day. Why? Well, you can't force me because la ikraha fi din. No, la ikraha fi din is very clear, meaning that once you know who God is and what His conditions are, what your purpose of life is, once you understand that, then you have a responsibility to totally submit. And if you do that, it's complete. You can't say, well, you know, la ikraha fi din, I can take it and leave it and do what I like. So that's one statement I think has to be cleared up, that nobody can be forced into Islam. There's another point, too, though, I'd like to mention this, and that is, you know, a lot of people see you and I, we're out here talking with so many people, they come to Islam, and they'll say, well, how many people did you guide to Islam? How many people did you guide? And what would you tell them?
Well, I would tell them that I don't guide anyone that Allah guides to
That's
Islam.
exactly true. That's exactly what anybody who does what we do knows that. But a lot of people think that we're out here guiding the people, that we're more or less even coercing them or doing a salesmanship routine on them, getting them to come into Islam. And nothing could be further from the truth, because if we did this kind of a routine on somebody and they came into Islam based on that, they wouldn't be in Islam anyway. Because as we said a few minutes ago, that the idea of going into Islam is you choose to submit to God on His terms. You're doing what He wants you to do. And if you did that, then you would be voluntarily submitting. And as such, in Arabic, aslama. And that's where Islam comes from. So when people say, well, how many people were guided by you or guided by what you did? I say, no. Allah guides the people. Not me.
That's right.
Our job is what?
To give the message.
That's it. We're messengers. We're messengers. And we try our best to deliver it in the best way. And then what the people do with the message after they get it's up to them. So that's pretty much it. But it was great to be in Curacao with you. I really enjoyed being down there.
That was one of our first trips together.
Was it?
And to see the receptivity of the people.
Oh, you mean out of the country?
Out of the
like
country,
that? Yeah,
that's
yeah.
right.
Because, man,
That's right.
tell me trips. I drove all over South Carolina with you.
Correct.
I
That's
don't,
correct.
and some of the time you were awake.
We visited 11 prisons in 3 days.
This man,
And I don't think
this
anyone.
man sleeps when he drives. Shh, don't tell anybody. You've been watching Bridge to Faith with Yosef Estes, with Tahir Sabri. It's been our pleasure once again to be with all of you. We ask Allah, the Almighty One God, to guide all those who seek truth to the right path, to the right bridge, to get to the right faith. Until next time, from me and from him.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.